Hey there, my name is Mark Melvin. I'm from Bullhead City, Arizona. If you watched my Gremlin Project video, part 1, you learned 3 things. First, you learned that my uncle bought his car brand new in 1971. Secondly, that only 10 years later, he parked the car and never drove it again. And thirdly, I'm not a professional speaker, and hopefully I've gained some experience from the first video and will do much better in this one. In this video, you'll see how I now enter the storyline, and you'll see the gremlin emerge from a 45-year hibernation into the sunlight. Let's go edit.
In the last video, I promised the storyline would take a different direction, and here is what that is. My uncle, the original owner of the 1972 Gremlin in this video, passed away at the age of 78. He was laid to rest with military honors at Forest Lawn in Covina, California. Thank you for your service to our country, Uncle Lary. Back to the story of the gremlin. So now what? I had not seen my uncle in several years, so on my first visit to his house after his death, I did not know what to expect when his garage door was opened. But it wasn't this.
It was quite a sight to see the gremlin surrounded by clutter. The first thing to catch my eye were a 472 and 500 Cadillac engine sitting directly behind the gremlin. What was that about? To get the gremlin back on the road, was it my uncle's plan to swap in a junkyard engine? Later, a car magazine article was found inside the house that detailed how to fit a Cadillac 500 engine into a 56 Chevy, which my uncle had at a friend's house. My uncle's next big car project was going to be a 500 Cadillac 56 Chevy hot rod. Apparently, he had given up hope on ever getting the gremlin running again. After last working on the engine in the early 1980s, he pushed the gremlin into the garage and never touched it again. The gremlin was surrounded by boxes and clutter. The only time the car had moved in 45 years was when it was pushed forward a few feet to make room for the 2 Cadillac engines now sitting behind the gremlin. During the 45 years the gremlin was parked, it became a place for my uncle to store excess clutter in his life. He stored CB radios and car parts inside, and with a foam pad on top of the car, empty boxes found a home there as well. Slowly a path was cleared around both sides of the gremlin, and a push was made forward until the engine hood could be opened. The engine parts were covered with a coat of rust. Nothing was left untouched by corrosion. Time did not do the car well. Fortunately, the car's battery had been removed years ago, and there was no battery tray damage. Finally, after removing some of the clutter around the gremlin, the doors could be opened to check out the interior. Other than being full of clutter, the interior was in fair shape. Besides, it's a 55-year-old car with only 10 years of wear on it. As for the tires, after sitting 45 years, surprisingly, both front tires were aired up. Both rear tires told a different story. Both rear tires had delaminated years ago, and the gremlin had jack stands holding the wheels off the ground. The wheels all around were rusted and pitted and generally nasty looking. I wanted to keep the car as original as possible, as the day my uncle parked the gremlin years ago, so instead of new wheels, I found a powder coating shop in San Dimas, California called Luminous Concepts that could clean the wheels up and powder coat them to a polished aluminum color. First, the wheels had to come off. Alright. Looks like it's still got some air in it.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool. With all 4 wheels off the car, they were loaded up and taken across town to be powder coated. The whole process was slow and took some 3 weeks, but the results of restoring the original wheels were as good as I could have hoped for. I ordered a new set of tires for the freshly restored 15-inch wheels. 7 inches in the front and 10 inches in the rear, and headed over to Tucker Tire to get them mounted. Their motto is, "You've never been tired until you've been tuckered." The freshly restored wheels and new tires combination turned out better than I hoped for and looked good back on the car. Finally, after 45 years of isolation, my uncle's Gremlin was ready to come alive and make its way into present day. The moment was here.
Hey, that license plate says Mad Max. Oh, I thought it said Maximus also.
I'm being serious when I say I was speechless to now be standing next to the Gremlin outside of the garage after all these years. I wonder what my uncle would say if he were still around to behold the sight. It was another one of those great sunny Southern California days in the winter, so the wash buckets were brought out and loaded with water and soap to wash the car. It was an understatement to say it was satisfying to rinse the dirt off the car and watch it drain off.
You missed all the dirt coming off the grass. There's all the crevices around here.
Oh, wow.
Working at the car wash, yeah. Come on and sing it with me, car wash. Sing it with the feeling now, car wash, yeah.
After finishing washing the car, the windows were cleaned with Windex and the interior was vacuumed out. I took a moment to sit in the car for the first time in 45 years, and the car felt good. The rake back of the seat, the feeling of the steering wheel, and the BMW shifter in perfect position for driving. But after this big day in the storyline of the Gremlin, it had to go back in the garage for one more week so I could return with my car trailer to take it home. Returning the next weekend to my uncle's house, the first action item was to get the Gremlin out of the garage for the last time and get it loaded into my trailer. But first a plan had to be devised to get the Gremlin safely down the sloped driveway down to the street. The plan was to first get my truck positioned close to the garage. Then after pushing the Gremlin out, the truck would be repositioned in front of the Gremlin, and then use the truck to control the speed of the car down the driveway, as the Gremlin had no brakes after sitting for 45 years. The mailman showed up just in time to walk through the frame and give the Gremlin the final push.
Okay. Thank you. 3 is better than 2, huh?
Yeah. Have a good day.
The plan to use tow straps and my truck to control the speed of the Gremlin and lower it down to the street worked out well. There it was. After 45 years, the wheels of the Gremlin were touching the street in front of my uncle's house. Loading the car into the trailer is different than most enclosed trailers. This trailer has a trolley system that allows the car to be strapped down while still outside the trailer, then pulled inside. After the Gremlin was loaded in the trailer, it was time to take one last look in the garage where my uncle's Gremlin sat for 45 years. Then it was off to Menifee, first to show the car to AMCers John Siciliano, Alan Tyler, and Steve Fox, and get their comments before heading home. In this picture, on each side of me is Pete McKim and his wife Cindy. Pete was just a teenager 45 years ago when the Gremlin last ran. He rode in the car back in the early 1980s before it was garaged. He knew my Uncle Lary well, as Pete lived just across the street from my uncle and would go over to my uncle's house every weekend to wash and wax my uncle's 1968 AMX. Pete was dating his at-the-time girlfriend Cindy. They got married right after high school and just celebrated their 50th marriage anniversary. After the quick stop in Menifee at John's house, it was time to head back home to Arizona.
Well, that just about wraps it up for the Gremlin Project video, part 2. In the next and likely last video in the series about my uncle's Gremlin, you will find out what happens next in the car's journey to get back on the road. It's already been dropped off at an auto repair shop in Arizona. In little over a month, it's made great progress to get it running and back on the road. Stay tuned for part 3. Bye for now.
Here's a sneak peek for the next episode. The engine is out, the block has been hot tanked, and is already being reassembled. Stay tuned for part 3.